milestone. This cultural expectation, it cuts through different people. You know, the Yoruba culture, they believe that you must do this, you must do that. Sometimes some Yoruba tribes, you are not allowed to marry certain tribes. I don't know how far they've gone, whether we've upgraded from that, but I remember that some certain people don't like all that. Let's move on. We have socioeconomic status, pressures to maintain or improve social standing. We have education and career expectations, pressure to achieve academic or professional success. I think that's okay. We still have one more. Okay, beauty standards, unrealistic expectations around physical appearance. I think I'll let you handle that.
Why? Well, I don't know, but people are just putting themselves under pressure. That's why I see a lot of people going for this Brazilian butt lift procedure.
What's up with that?
Because there's an expectation. You have to be curvy. You have to have the hourglass shape and all of that. And it just takes you to first love yourself before you can actually decide that I don't need to go through this process to actually look good for myself. But let's quickly touch briefly on some effects of cultural and societal pressure. We have anxiety and stress, low self-esteem, conformity, loss of personal identity, fear of failure, mental health issues, unrealistic expectations, limited choices and opportunities, feeling trapped or suffocated, difficulty setting boundaries. And also we'll quickly talk on how to overcome cultural and societal pressure. How do you overcome this? First off is self-reflection and awareness. The second thing you need to do is set personal boundaries. The third thing is prioritize your individual needs as well as values. Seek support from like-minded individuals, more like your mentors. Challenging unrealistic expectations. Don't let anybody put you under pressure, just as you are now. You're probably 25 and you're already feeling like, oh, I don't have a car, I don't have a house, I'm not married, I'm not this. Don't put yourself under unnecessary pressure. Don't allow anybody put unrealistic, don't set unrealistic standards and expectations for yourself. Do yourself the way you know how to. Also embrace diversity and individuality. It is very, very important. Fostering a growth mindset. Also practice mindfulness and self-care. Engage in honest and open communication, and embrace authenticity and vulnerability. Now, recognizing and addressing cultural and social pressure, societal pressure can lead to greater autonomy, self-awareness, and personal fulfillment. So, I hope you've been able to learn one or two things on our cultural and societal pressure conversation this morning. We'll take a break. When we're back, we'll be delving straight into the review of the newspapers on the Breakfast Cafe. Just stay with us.
Welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, yes, it's still the Breakfast Cafe, but this segment is the newspaper review, where we get to review the national dailies. We have the Vanguard, we have the Punch, the Daily Trust, and of course the Guardian. You can also take part by calling 081-2182-0154. You can also stream live on YouTube, Facebook, and on X at High Impact Studios. Let's start off with the Punch newspaper. The story greets us with petrol price. Dangote, NNPC differ as refinery supplies 16 million liters. We have just one writer to that story. It says, marketers await price after Dangote counters NNPC on 898 naira per liter PMS. Dealers allege fuel sale monopoly. There has been so many speculations about this thing. I mean, well, this is still a speculation. 898 naira. I was thinking 400 naira.
because that's the whole idea, to see a reduction in the price. But even with this 898 naira, it's currently higher than the 855 naira that the NNPC is selling, you know. But this, there's a particular paper that has a very disturbing headline that talks about how, I think it's still the Punch newspaper, I think if you get into the details, that was talking about how they plan to sell the petrol for about 1,019 naira in Borno State and about 950 naira in, I'm looking for that story, it's the Punch newspaper. The inside page has NNPC to sell Dangote petrol 1,019 naira per litre in Borno, 950 naira in Lagos. Now, if this is going to be the situation of things, it's like we're running from fry pan to fire, because this is not bringing any form of succor at all. About 16 million litres have been lifted. Yesterday, I saw the video of the trucks where they were being moved and all of that. But this conversation around pricing, there's so much. NNPC is saying one thing, Dangote has come out to debunk it.
Yes.
And this is stalling the whole process.
I think when we get our analyst, I like to ask, why must it be NNPC to sell? Why can't Dangote sell directly to suppliers?
So do you think if Dangote sells directly to suppliers, the price will be better? Now,
which brings me to my next question. If NNPC insists on selling, then are we going back to subsidy?
That's a multi-billionaire question there.
That's why I'm asking that first question. Well, let's quickly move on. Just beside the nameplate, we have APC, PDP clash over rigging plot. We have just one writer to that story. It says, on Wike's cousin as wreck. Wow. Wow. Well, still an allegation, and you know there seems to be a lot of tension towards this Edo gubernatorial election.
It's on Saturday, so we should expect a lot of conversations and updates in the build-up to the election. So,
and I hope we've learned from the presidential and governorship and the general election. Basically, I hope we've learned our mistakes. All eyes on INEC also. Just above that, we have NCOS contracts Interpol over 281 Borno fleeing inmates. I'll take that again. The Nigerian Correctional Services contacts Interpol over 281 Borno fleeing inmates. So, which means basically, perhaps some have left the country. I mean, and it was reported that it has to do with the flood. I don't know how flood is able to wash away, break down
walls of the prison, and inmates are able to run away. Sometimes I feel like okay, I'll just hold my thoughts there.
After the presidential villa, maybe the governorship villa, some VIP, the Nigerian Correctional Center should be one of the fortified buildings in Nigeria. I mean, because of what it holds, the people in there. But let's quickly move on. We have Maluch Tinubu and governors urges prayers for peace and unity. Beside that, 2027, Wike's loyalists move against Fubara's second-term bid. I remember in last week's report, we heard that Wike was able to secure an amount of vote that gave him the power to over Rivers, which means there might be more troubles for Governor Fubara. Now, moving on, we have below that, we have Labour Party, Abure sues INEC over caretaker exco. The Labour Party crisis seems not to be going away. I mean, so many things happening. And beside that, it says here, Hire was rescued from collapsed Edo building. This is a landlord's daughter. And lastly, NIM SIM linkage telcos begin disconnection as deadline ends. I know this month is supposed to be the deadline for people to register and link their NIN with their SIM cards.
Some people that have not done it. I know people that they've still blocked their SIM card. And some people are just like, I was going to get another SIM. Why? Why are we like this too?
I think it has to do with the hassle. I remember NIN too, when the NIN thing, I remember what I went through at the point I gave up, and when, you know, the crowd and everything came down, I just went to do it. But I think that's all we have right now coming from the Punch newspaper this morning.
Do not forget that you can be a part of the conversation. 0812-182-0154. Do well to call us. Let us know your thoughts on any of the headlines trending this morning, or you'd like to bring us up to speed, any conversation at all of national interest. Do well to let us know. The phone line is displayed on your screen. We move swiftly to the Guardian newspaper this morning, and it has the major read, this whole back and forth between the federal government, NNPCL, and Dangote. Confusion over pump price subsidy as federal government offtakes Dangote's petrol. One rider to that story. NNPC insists on 898 naira per litre, excluding associated costs. You need to brace yourself. I've been breathing in like 1 billion times now.
So I really
because
don't understand.
it's like we need to just brace it, because you will be so. I won't be surprised. We wake up tomorrow and hello everyone. Petrol price now goes for 1,050 naira per litre.
I need to understand. We've been told so many times that the landing cost of fuel is what is making fuel rise. But this is something that it's between the NNPC. NNPC sells this crude to Dangote. Dangote refines it and sends it back. Okay, we have a caller. Let's take this call.
Good morning, Philip. All right, do well to call us back. 0812-182-0154. Network be friendly this morning.
I mean, you sell to Dangote the crude in Naira and it sells back to you. And I mean, maybe when our analyst gets here, we'll probably unravel this.
The Guardian puts it at NNPC insists on 898 naira per litre, excluding associated costs. So by the time you add associated costs, just brace yourselves. Maybe 950, 1,000. How my days! But you get details on page 6. What was meant to be some sort of succor relief doesn't seem like it anymore. But let's move on from the Dangote story, still on the Guardian newspaper. President Tinubu gives ministers 1,200 bags of rice each as palliatives for distribution. But let's quickly take Michael from Benue State. Good morning, Michael. Thank you so much for calling. Please share your thoughts in 30 seconds.
Yeah, my contribution is that since this petrol is being produced in Nigeria, I want to believe our federal government will do something, because it's no longer coming from abroad. So that the price of the petrol will come down. At least maximum 300 or 400 thereabouts. Not what they are saying, different between NNPC, Dangote, is close.
Right.
I grew up in a republic of Banana Republic in Nigeria. We should tell ourselves the truth. This thing is refined in our backyard in Nigeria here. They are telling us 900, 800. What are they saying? Federal government should come out and tell us the real price of petrol. Not NNPC and Dangote. Dangote is trying to reduce the suffering in this country, and they are trying to keep having it. It is not good for us.
Right.
They should do something so that the poor man can live well in this country. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. You could hear the pain, from Michael, just as he was saying it. This is supposed to be some sort of relief. Everybody thought that, okay, maybe, just maybe, we might never go back to the 160 something naira. Maybe we'll be like 300 and something, 400 and something. That would have been okay, a little bit calm and all of that. But now seeing the possibility of a spike, a hike in the price, it's not what we need right now. But thank you for your thoughts, Michael. But the phone lines are still open. You can call us to share your thoughts on this, 0812-182-0154. I was taking this headline about President Tinubu giving 1,200 bags of rice each as palliatives for distribution to the ministers, and I'm lost in my thoughts. But we have Wale from Lagos. Thank you for calling, Wale.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Please share your thoughts in 30 seconds. Good morning.
Yeah, I think you journalists have to do us a lot of work. Because when I listen to journalists telling us there is a lot of confusion in the town, in the land, who is going to educate us? It's not the journalist. The Dangote confusion here is very, very clear. Come on. The crude to Naira is going to kick off by October. That's clearly stated. Naira to crude by October. So what they are buying now, they are buying in dollar. And they are selling back in dollar. If NNPC is telling you that they are not selling to them in Naira, they are selling in dollar, what is the equivalent of what you're selling to them in Naira? NNPC is dealing with us in Naira. They are telling us this is what we bought in Naira. Now, but the techno we sold in dollar. But whatever you sell in dollar is equivalent to naira. And they are telling us back that this is what we bought from Dangote in naira equivalent. So there is no confusion here. And there is nothing like Dangote is trying to help us. I don't see where that is coming up. This is democracy. Democracy works with capitalists. And every capitalist is set up to maximize profit. We just have to sit down and understand where we are going in this country.
Right.
We are not in a socialist economy.
Very
we
true.
don't get this straight.
Thank
The
you.
more you help us, the better it is for us.
Thank you so much, Wale, for sharing your thoughts with us this morning. We'll keep doing our best and doing our job as journalists, you know, to put out all those things, get clarity on it, put out the right information, you know, and hopefully we believe that things will get better. We'll keep doing our best. Rice has come to be like the major solution to every problem now.
Yes.
But now 1,200 bags have been given to ministers for palliative. Have you ever received rice? From all this rice that they keep sharing out, there's hardship rice. I think everybody should just carry a bag of rice and just use, maybe rice can now buy electricity, maybe rice can now buy gas, maybe rice can buy fuel, maybe rice translates to all these things and we do not know, because I don't sometimes understand the rationale behind rice. You know, it's
the thought process that we are not trying to be better than yesterday. This is something that has been going on for years, not just this administration. And to think that rice is the solution. If you actually, okay, let's take this call.
Michael from Taraba, thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning. Please share your thoughts in 30 seconds.
Yes, okay. I believe what's happening, the government is not telling the truth. NNPC is just full of lies. And that is just a businessman trying to sell. Because they just full of Nigerians. Some part of the country in Taraba State were buying fuel at 1,300 naira per liter.
Wow.
That's my point. And the DPR is reading about it. And yet the government is saying they are doing their best. Everything is just like, okay, they are playing in lies. So I believe you guys are doing your best to enlighten the public about what's going on in the country. But the truth is, NNPC is a scam. Yamute is a businessman. And the federal government, I don't know what's going on. So just need to help us. People are suffering.
Right.
Now they're sharing bags up to 1,200 bags a minute at all. How many Nigerians have benefited from this palliative?
That's $1 billion question.
They're just playing us.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much.
Live 1,300 naira per liter in Taraba State. And then if this is now increased, I wonder how much is going to be sold for. How would the common man even survive? And let's understand that this thing has a ripple effect. You think it's just the cost of buy fuel. It trickles down to everything. Everything starts to increase, the prices start to skyrocket, and our voices are putting out our voice every day. The hardship is too much on Nigerians, and a solution, a lasting solution, needs to be found. Well, let's move very swiftly on the Guardian newspaper. Idil Maulud, Tinubu greets Muslims as IGP orders security beef up. That's on news page 3. Edo Guba, state government alleges plan to withdraw Obaseki's security detail. That's on news page 29, Guardian newspaper. Telecom operators set to deactivate unlinked SIMs as deadline expires. If you have the chance, please go on and register your SIM card so you don't get disconnected. Bank sacks 49 as fraud-related losses spiked by 9,004% in the second quarter of 2024. Get details on page 3. Still on the Guardian newspaper, Obasanjo meets with IBB Abdusalami Gusau in Mina. I'll hold my thoughts there and take Jasper from Delta State. Thank you for calling us this morning, Jasper.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Please, you have 30 seconds to share your thoughts.
Hello.
Good morning. Go ahead, Jasper.
Concerning this fuel pump price,
Yeah.
if you go through states, it varies. Delta State sells for 1,350.
Wow.
Wow.
the price is just random. I see no reason why the NNPC is trying to interfere in the pump price, like the last caller said. They are scam.
Mm.
Yes. Come to think of it, why will a country that has plantain start buying bole? That's the state of Nigeria. You have crude. You buy refined petrol. Why? You export what you have to buy it back.
Right. Thank you for your thoughts.
Somehow absurd. It's like a crazy state. If I should use that statement, it's the federal, the Senate. They are not really affected by what is happening in the grassroots. Can you imagine sharing rights to them? Why are they sharing rights for them again?
Palliative.
It is really absurd. Come to think of it, it's just like an animal farm, like the book says. We're really living in an animal farm,
right.
And we pray it doesn't get worse, because with the way things are going, I do not pray for a negative situation in the country, but it is driving the people to the edge.
Thank you so much, Jasper, for calling and for sharing your thoughts with us. People are already at the edge. People are already at the edge. You know, you hear people talk every day about their minds not being okay. People are just floating because it's a struggle now to actually survive.
It is,
as a Nigerian in the country,
struggle, honestly.
But people have been calling for the president to fire the NNPCL boss. That by this time, things are supposed to have happened.
But is that the solution to the problem?
That's the question. Would that change anything? Would that make anything better? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe there's just a need for some sort of accountability, proper questioning, interrogation. Maybe people need to be put on their toes.
I think we need to start by auditing NNPC. Let's know what NNPC is making.
They said they made profit from taking off subsidy.
Where is it? 1 trillion naira per month.
So it's over a year now since the subsidy was removed.
Yes.
So what has the profit been used for? After declaring profits, they came out to declare loss, that they are in debt. According to economics, it's not like one of our guests said, I'm trying to remember, it's not possible to declare so much profit and in the space of how many months or weeks you're coming back to say you're recording losses, you're in debt.
Let's not
how
forget,
does it balance up?
Dangote accused some NNPC officials of grinding this thing in Malta.
Let's just move on. Our time is fast spent. Maiduguri flood. Federal government releases pictures of 281 fleeing inmates. Captures 7. That's on page 3. And lastly, on The Guardian, synagogue building collapse. Group laments non-prosecution of indictees at 10th anniversary. That's on Metro page 9. That's all we have on The Guardian newspaper this morning.
All right, quickly, let's move on to the Daily Trust newspaper this morning and see what the Daily Trust has for us. On the Daily Trust newspaper, the story is actually different. Maiduguri flood, it has to do with the Maiduguri flood. 400 million naira budgeted for Alao Dam in 4 years. Let's take the 4 riders there. We have this one. It says dam neglected for years. This is coming from Zulu himself. Its defect discovered 9 years ago. This is quite concerning. 9 years ago, it has been detected. Now, fear of disease grows as Bono decries harmful practice. All right, let's take Michael from Benue State. Michael, in less than 30 seconds, please share your thoughts.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My brother and sister, you know in this world that many countries, they are still subsidizing things for their citizens. So that things will be better for the citizens to enjoy.
Yeah.
But in our case, they said they remove subsidy. Now, this fuel is being produced just at our backyard in Nigeria too. So me, I was of the opinion that government should look into it and still bring us subsidy so that this fuel can drop. So the thing is very difficult over this time. They are buying fuel here 1,200.
In Delta, in Benue State, 1,200. Wow.
You see? So the government should come in. They have to subsidize. Even in America, even Britain, they do subsidize things for their citizens. Our case should not be different from them.
Okay.
That's my own opinion.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you.
I remember a video I saw. One man was in the filling station trying to buy fuel, and he was shouting 80,000 naira, could not even fill his car, his tank.
We're not even talking about the disparities in prices. Taraba State is 1,003, Delta State is 1,350, Benue State 1,200. He mentioned that black market is 1,900 naira for a liter of petrol. Like he said, what are the benefits that we are getting as citizens of this country? What are the benefits that are accrued to us?
Maybe we need to send some people to Saudi Arabia and some other countries to see how they are doing it, how Saudi
We don't need to send people.
Maybe we're getting something wrong. I don't know what we're getting wrong.
Right.
But maybe, but still on the Maiduguri flood, survivors wash, cook with contaminated water. Yesterday I saw a video and everything. It was alleged that a powerful delegation was sent to that dam to investigate. But the report they gave was contrary to what is happening now. And Maiduguri is underwater. We can only pray that relief comes soon. Just above that, we have hotel owner, manager, guest. Okay, hotel owner, manager, guest, and 2 vigilantes shot dead by kidnappers. There's this new trending thing that kidnappers now are shooting their victims. They're not releasing them anymore. They take them, demand for ransom, and once the ransom is being made, they kill the people held in captivity. Now we have this one: Malu Tinubu, speaker, governors, and others felicitate with Muslims. Beside that, NNPC lifts 70 trucks of petrol in fresh dispute with Dangote. Below that, we have Obasanjo, Abdusalami, Gusau, meet Ibrahim Babangida. Well, let's see if anything. Of course, when these world leaders, when these past head of states, when they meet, it's for the benefit of Nigeria. So we hope that something would come out of this. Now we have below that Uganda Airlines debut direct flights to Abuja. Kudos to that. 400 jobs to go as Scotland's only refinery shuts down in 2025. Wow, one refinery shutting down. We're still trying to get one to start. Lastly, cholera kills 4 and hospitalizes 36 in Adama. We're not even talking about what cholera might do in Maiduguri as a result of what is really going on.
Because they are baked in cooking with contaminated water. So that's already a health hazard that needs to be properly addressed.
Yes.
Because there's already the possibility of an infection or a virus or an outbreak happening is very, very slim.
Yes.
It is not properly managed. But let's quickly move to the Vanguard newspaper very, very swiftly. Petrol supply, NNPCL, Dangote refinery disagree over pricing. A lot of riders is on page 5. Vanguard newspaper. Above the masthead, federal government delivers 1,200 CNG kits to 5 states. That's on page 9. You get details. Edo and Ondo polls. The world is watching us. That's coming from Anya Oku. It's on page 8. Just beside that, Ailed Malu, Tinubu, Akpabio, Abbas, governors, PDP preach selflessness. You get all the details on page 35. Maiduguri flooding. Federal government unveils identity of 281 fleeing inmates, recaptures 7. Something very...
This is not...
we're very peculiar as a nation. It's in this nation animals will swallow money, run away with money. It's in this nation rain would allow the thunder... was it not... there was this...
storm. Broke the fence, broke everything.
And inmates will run away. They are not able to capture them. It's in this nation as well that issues will happen and they will lose the file of important cases.
Yes.
They cannot recover because it's not done electronically. Monkeys stealing money. It's just, we're just a very
Where are they revealing the inmates? Where are they they should be revealed on the national papers. Put their pictures everywhere. If their pictures are everywhere, people would identify some of them. 7 out of 281.
So is it that the security forces or the security men or what have you, the guards, were also carried away or they had gone for safety? Sometimes I can't wrap my head around these headlines, but they've recaptured 7 but we are still looking for 281. You get details on page 8, Vanguard newspaper. Nenadi Usman, this one says Nenadi Usman has integrity to lead Labour Party. This is coming from the NLC. That's a page 9 read. There's a pictorial representation of Dangote Refinery flagging of lifting of PMS. You can see there. Obi Islam's presidency over attempt to divert attention with U.S. polls. That's on page 8. And lastly on page 37, sports page, Ethiopia Premier League, new haven for NPL stars. You can get the details of that. You know, all these things happening on the headlines, on the paper, shows that a lot of things are going on in the country, and Nigerians just need succor, just as there are reports of a planned protest come October 1st. I don't know if you saw the story yesterday of Omoyele Sowore, who was, you know,
championing this.
He was even detained upon arrival yesterday at the airport, but after a few hours he was reportedly released. And I saw a story this morning, I'm trying to get it out, where he mentioned that it's on the Punch newspaper, more protests coming. This is coming from Sowore after his detention, talking about how Nigerians just want things to get better and they are not going to relent. They will keep protesting. But you think people would actually come out this time around, considering what's going on? Some people were charged with treason. Some people have been given bail of 10 million naira. We shot in like some. So all these things, but when you push people to a point, sometimes they don't, sometimes, if I could use the word, damning the consequences sometimes. But it's one thing to protest, it's another thing to protest and see results from it.
You know, Nigerians, we say this thing about ourselves, that we like to be pushed to, we like to adjust. I think someone even said that Nigerians, if they are pushed to the wall, they don't mind breaking the wall to enter the wall to give you more space. But there comes a time whereby it gets to your threshold and we can't do anything more. But let's go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll get our analyst views on all the stories we've read out, so please stay tuned.
Derision, derision, derision.
Now, welcome back. This is the newspaper review segment on the Breakfast Cafe. We've taken a look at stories on the national dailies. Joining us to have a conversation virtually this morning is Adeniyi Ifetayo. He's a media analyst. We'll be talking about some of the stories we discussed already. Good morning. Thank you for joining us, Adeniyi Ifetayo.
Good morning. It's my pleasure to be here once again.
Thank you. Right, straight into the business of the day. The major story on the lips of every Nigerian on all the national dailies, the bickering between the NNPCL, the federal government, and Dangote Refinery. Just yesterday we got update about how 16 million litres of fuel was lifted by the NNPCL from Dangote Refinery, and there have been speculations in regards to the pricing. NNPCL is talking about selling at about 898 naira. There's disparity, and according to Dangote, this is based on the crude imported in dollars. Let's get your perspective. You know, we all thought that this would bring some sort of succor and relief to Nigerians, but we're seeing the possibility of the price actually jacking up, because that price is excluding other costs. So by the time other costs are added, we might be entering 900 plus as the official rate, which that's not the rate that other independent marketers will sell for. So let's get your perspective on all of this bickering in terms of pricing, even as the petrol has been lifted.
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to say that it's just a pity, just like our former president Buhari said, that when you try to fight corruption, corruption will fight back. I don't know whether you have a copy of the statement released by the Dangote refinery yesterday, saying that people should disregard the price that the spokesperson of NNPC released, that, and they shouldn't forget that the first set of crude oil that was supplied to each refinery, they made the payment in dollars, and they are doing the calculation. That was after that the Mr. President announced that crude oil should be sold to Dangote refinery in naira, so that it will reduce the burden. The market women, the trader, I heard Olumide saying that he's been in the bus for so many minutes, while the man was like, I'm not going to waste my fuel just on only on 4 passengers. So you can see that it just the corruption that is at play here, just to make the man who has the heart of Nigeria, who have that African spirit, to look bad in the face of the public. So I think what Dangote was trying to say, that Mr. President has set up a committee to look at the difference. Yes, you got this thing. Of course, as a businessman, he's not going to sell his fuel, you know, making losses or loss, as it were. But they just want to look at disparity, how much the dollar was sold then. So it was on the basis of that the fuel, the first set of 16 million litre that were, you know, released into the market yesterday or today will be sold. So doing that, I don't think it's just what's it called, NNPC spokesperson. I don't know whether it was Oga at the top that gave him the go ahead, but they are just trying to make somebody who have a good intention look bad in the face of Nigeria. So I'm sure this thing will be resolved. Like that statement said, that the public should disregard it. It was those who are hell bent to make sure that somebody who have tried to solve almost 50 years problem, you know, of Nigerians, they want to make them to look bad, that they should relax. Mr. President has set up a committee. They are looking at the prices disparity, and of course, I'm sure it's going to come down. You know, just like he said, the higher the quantity demanded, the lower the price. We are going to see it in the case of Dangote refinery refining our crude oil.
Just before Olumide comes in, you know, they always say that sometimes in every speculation or rumor, in quotes, there's always an iota of truth, right? And just as they have said we should disregard it, the NNPC on the Guardian newspaper is still insisting that the price is 898 naira per litre, which is excluding the associated cost. I would like to ask, why exactly should we, or on what grounds should the price be solely dependent on the NNPCL to fix it? Is there a reason for that? If yes, what is the reason? If no, what other strategies can be adopted in terms of price fixing?
Yes, I think NNPC just want to quickly jump on the transaction, the last transaction they had with Dangote. You know, don't forget that dollar in the last 2-3 months has skyrocketed like never seen before. So they want to jump on that. On the basis of these, that is what the landing cost is going to be. But mind you, the person who is in charge, who refined the whole thing, are saying no, don't jump before you look. You know, just let's. There's a committee that have been set up. Yes, a pronouncement are paid for this product in dollars. You know how much it is to use naira to buy dollar and pay your supplier. And he's not the manufacturer or producer of crude oil, so he has to buy from NNPC. So NNPC was just saying, because they are the sole distributor of this refined product as at now. I'm sure as time goes on, they are going to give some marketers so that it will reduce the burden, it will reduce the bureaucracy, you know, before you get your fuel supply or refined product supply to you. So I think, just like we said, was it not last week, that communication has been one of the, I think one of your sister program communication has been, or should I say miscommunication, or there's no a channel where government release authentic information where it can be verified. I'm sure if Dangote should open his mouth and say that my landing cost of this refined product will not be more than ABC, they are going to come for him. So he's allowing the Mr. President who has intervened, who has the heart of Nigeria at heart. Just like we said, that refinery alone has solved our foreign dependence of about 40%, almost 40%. And you know what it is. So it's just the power that be. Most of them have all this bureau de change. They have access to CBN to collect dollars and, you know, give it to their cronies, to give it to their whoever that is working for them, or their BDC and all of that. So you will be shocked that the number of BDC we have in the last 5-6 years has almost tripled than what we had before, all because they are profiting from these whether kickback or because of fuel swap, crude oil swap and all of that. So all this is just corruption trying to play their last card. Of course, Nigeria is going to win.
All right, thank you very much. I have two questions, and if you can, the shorter you can help me get this, we'll be able to understand what is really going on. Now, the first question is, what do you think NNPC's true intention is, being the sole buyer and distributor of this fuel? Is it that to make profit or to subsidize for Nigerians, if at all subsidy has been removed? Then secondly, if eventually the Port Harcourt refinery comes into play, will we get fuel cheaper than what it is being speculated right now, or would NNPC still maintain, status quo?
Yeah, what NNPC is trying to do, I believe, is that the amount that, they are the sole distributor, the amount that was paid for this refined crude product and taking it again from Dangote. So I'm sure in the next 1 month or thereabout, the prices of fuel will still remain the same until this 16 million litre have been dispensed, or the refined product that was sold to Dangote had been utilized finally. There may be another set of products which will take effect of buying it in Naira and also selling it in Naira. Then the price will begin to come down. Of course, if another Port Harcourt refinery comes to play, it will definitely reduce it. Maybe let's say 10% more of dependence on forex to get our crude refined. And don't let us forget that Dangote have enough capacity to refine crude oil. But the reason what NNPC is trying to say, you will understand there was a time they said they made profit, there was a time they said they are making losses and all of that. It's just at least to break even, that they don't lose much, at least they were able to recover their money. But of course, Dangote will say to them, he bought for them in Naira. So of course, they are going to buy back in dollar rather. So they are going to buy back in dollar. Of course, then when Port Harcourt refinery comes to play, it's going to be, it will reduce price. The more the competitor, the merrier. I'm not saying they are competing, but I'm just saying it's making distribution channel, refined channel, more easier, and the prices of crude oil, fuel, PMS as it's called, will reduce.
Right. Let's move away from Dangote fuel to a rather disturbing headline as well that we can see on all the national dailies we took a look at this morning. NCOS contacts Interpol, places 281 Borno fleeing inmate on watch list. This has to do with the flooding situation in Maiduguri, where about 281 inmates at large escaped the Maiduguri Medium Security Custodial Center following the serious flooding that took place last Tuesday. Now, according to report, the NCOS spokesperson has alerted the Nigerian Immigration Service and the police force, among other security agencies, to help recapture the fleeing inmate. They have released their details according to reports, and they were able to recapture 7 of them. But this is starting to seem like a norm. We've been getting cases of, if I could use the word prison break, jail break, storm. We hear that the walls of the prison broke, inmates escaped. Someone came in, released inmates. Now flooding, inmates have escaped. Now, this begs a very huge and big question on our security architecture. If people that are supposed to be in custody can escape at the slightest opportunity, I would like to get your perspective on this, considering the frequency of these incidents time and again, and the possibility of recapturing these inmates based on our past experiences.
You know, if you continue to do the same thing and expect different results, you are just joking. You are just a joker. We know maybe quarterly, I'm sorry, don't let me use the word quarterly, maybe biannually, maybe once in 2 years, they are going to open up a dam. Even if I believe that they should have developed a strategy, a technology to make sure the impact is not really felt or is reduced drastically. You can't just continue to have the same problem. So it has become a norm that any slightest opportunity or something happen, there will be a prison break, let me borrow your word, or a jailbreak or whatever it is. So is done or not that anything that is not being productive, that is not bringing in income or inflow, government tends not to pay attention to it. You know, they try to focus on what to bring him on. No, you can't do that. I usually use an example that if you are a father in a home, you won't say that if only I'm paid for the school fees of my children, I'm less concerned about their well-being or their healthcare system or the clothes or their shelter. No, it has to be all-encompassing. You know, there are some things, I'm sure now billions of naira is going to go down to these floods, the outcome of the flood or the causes, the destruction of property and life that were lost. You know, it's just a pity that, and on the part of our security too, they are not proactive. You know, in advanced world or in Western world, they usually put what they call a scenario situation. What if this thing happen? What can we do to mitigate against it? What can we do to reduce prison break or jail break? What can we do? You know, but they just seems to be adamant or less concerned about that once it happens, well, we continue to, you can't continue to do the same thing and expect a different result. I think this time around, and also the issue of data, I kept on saying it, we don't have a data, that's anything, somebody who is an inmate should be there on data basis. And you said they've released some of their information. I've not seen anyone.
According to them, they put it here. Yes, according to them, they have put it, I'm trying to get the exact newspaper, on Vanguard newspaper, it has it that federal government unveils identity of 281 fleeing inmates, recaptures 7. So Olumide also said the same thing, that if they had released it, we should be seeing it, maybe some sections of the National Daily.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Now it will be very difficult for them to pay media houses money. Please help us display this on your television, announce the name on TV, show it on, ads on newspaper and all of that. But just like I said, these are the sector of a nation that is not yielding money to them. So they believe that those people that were there, of course, the cost of a life in Nigeria can be measured. God just helping us. You know, just like Mr. Alum, they said that we get to a point, even if they push you, you get to a wall. You can you break the wall and go inside just to still create more space. So it's just the same thing that they need to be proactive. The channel of communication must be intact, and also the issue of data to know who are the people that are being kept in correctional places or maximum prison, as it were. Yes.
Very important. Proactiveness. Let's be proactive and not just be reactive. That's a wonderful place to end the conversation this morning. Thank you so much for joining us, Adeni Ifetayo, and for sharing your thoughts with us on some of the stories. Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your Monday.
And you too.
Right. You know, our time is fast spent of this segment, but it's been a wonderful thing. I always talk about this thing, being proactive. I always say it, we are like a people that we just get so relaxed. If the problem doesn't come, we don't see a need to do anything. And at the end of the day, we're crying over spilled milk when we should have taken a step to solve it in case. We don't like to work with just in case, but we need to get to that point where we're able to manage that.
Well, all these things that we're seeing, it's just overwhelming, and It's funny how Nigerians excel in other countries. I know, remember, during the conference, Dangote said that if we get to heaven, that God would probably say, who are the Nigerians here? And we'll raise up and be like, okay, don't worry, just go. There's a free pass.
Gone through a
You've
lot.
gone through a lot. So just take a free pass and go. But, we will continue to call our government. I will continue to demand accountability and transparency. I don't know whether I protest myself these days, because if you look at the consequences of going on a protest, you might just want to sit back at home. But we'll continue to demand accountability and transparency. That's all. That's the least we can do. So on this note, this is where we would call it for the newspaper review. Of course, we have a whole lot more coming up on the Breakfast Cafe. Please stay tuned.
Derision, derision, derision.
Welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is the Breakfast Cafe on Impact Television. Don't forget, you can also join us. You can join the conversation by calling 081-2182-0154. This is one of the most interesting parts of the Breakfast Cafe. This is where we throw out a question on views on the net. We throw out a question and we get your opinions and try to educate ourselves on some of the social issues affecting the country. Now, today's question is very simple, straightforward. How can you find a healthy balance between personal ambition and societal expectation? Let me start with ladies first, they say. Ladies
Don't
first.
start with me today. Nah. Let's start with you, Olumide. You always get to start with me,
Okay.
but let's start with you today. So answer the question.
Yes, how do you find a balance between your own ambition and expectations? I think people have, I'm sure we have all heard the saying that it's better to do what you love to do and you excel better. But these days, with the current reality, a lot of people are stuck, or shall I say trapped, or just trying to feed, just trying to make a living. People are not really doing what they really want to do. I mean, I've spoken to a lot of people who wanted to do certain things and they found themselves in another particular field. And I try to ask, are you getting fulfillment in what you are doing? So it's quite hard. It takes boldness. It takes a lot of determination. Sometimes, I remember when my dad was alive, he told me sometimes if you are trying to get to someplace, it might take you another route to get to that particular thing. But once you stay focused, you will get to that particular. Basically, you might want to be a doctor, but it might take you working several years in a bank to save up money to go back to med school, but the major thing is determination. That's all.
Right. Well, let's take Adeshola from Lagos. Adeshola says, in navigating the delicate balance between personal ambition and societal expectations, it's crucial to remember that both aspects are interconnected. By acknowledging and understanding the cultural context and norms within your society, you can better align your personal goals with the collective expectations. This alignment can lead to a sense of fulfillment and harmony as you pursue your ambitions while also respecting the values and traditions of your community. Thank you for your thoughts, Adeshola. Thank you so much.
I remember when I was growing up too, I wanted to be an artist, and my dad used to tell me that you see all those people on the road painting, you see, that's where they ended up. But, and somehow I kind of got discouraged, but I didn't stop, but it somehow discouraged me because I wanted to do that. It was my passion.
Mine was French. I actually wanted to study French. That was what I wanted to study, French language. I wanted to go to school because I liked French. I did it growing up. It was a thing for me, and when I finished secondary school, JAM, apply for French, and my family members were like, no, why would you use 4 years
4 years
to go and study French when you can always go to, there's one school they were talking about, it's about 9 months French, and I'm like, now sometimes when they remember, they're like, we should have left you. Do you know how much people are making just by being able to understand the language and translate it and all of that? It was what. So then I wanted to switch again. I said, okay, if not French, theater arts. And my mom said, no, the only way you do theater arts if you're going to do the Christian way, you go to the Christian school and all of that. And I said, what is all this now? What is happening? So I just had to navigate into what I eventually studied. So sometimes it happens like that.
All right, let's take this one. This one says, I believe that self-awareness and clear communication are key in navigating the intersection of a personal ambition and societal expectations. By understanding your own values and motivations, you can make informed decisions that resonate with your authentic self, while also acknowledging and respecting the norms of the society you are part of. This balance requires a delicate interplay of self-reflection, adaptability, and a willingness to engage in a constructive dialogue with others to find harmony between personal growth and societal harmony. This is Karochukwu from Abuja.
Thank you for your contribution, Karochukwu. But let's take Queen from Great Yabatek. Queen says, finding balance requires understanding that personal ambition and societal expectations are not mutually exclusive. In fact, they can complement each other. By prioritizing self-awareness, setting realistic goals, and communicating openly with loved ones, we can create a harmonious relationship between our aspirations and external pressures. Thank you so much.
One thing I like now is now we are getting to see, if you ask a lot of parents now, most parents now are trying to be aware. They are watching their children as they are developing any interest in something. They put them in a particular school to help them develop it. You know, I mean, our parents, well, they knew what they thought was happening there. They thought
what
they
they
knew best.
did then was they thought they were doing what was best for us in their best capacity.
Yes.
You know, but things are evolving. People are getting more aware, more knowledgeable about all these things. So.
I know my friend also said that, you know, he's praying that one of his sons would develop interest in football and become, you know, a national team player or something.
Right.
All right, let's move on. We have this one. It says, I've learned that embracing authenticity is key to finding balance. Now, when we try to conform to societal expectations, we risk losing ourselves in the process. By staying true to our values, passions, and goals, we can create a sense of purpose and fulfillment that goes beyond external validation. Jude from Jos. Wow.
Thank you, Jude.
But my question is, what if, you know, fine, we are developing, and they say in Yoruba, ojutila, that people are being exposed. But what if the people around you do not agree with your own expectations or your own beliefs or your own passion?
Are you doing it for them or you're doing it for yourself?
If it's your parents, you have to also respect your parents. And
But you need to also understand that you're doing it for yourself. If push comes to shove at the end of the day, you're going to be the one in that situation. Haven't you heard of cases of people that their parents wanted them to study whatever it is they wanted them to study, and they went ahead and they did it, and they presented the certificate to their parent and said, you know what, I've done what you want. Now it's time for me to do what I want. So, but I think parents are getting more aware now, and they are there to guide. Not necessarily to dictate, but to guide, put you on the right path, advise you, this is how you should go about it. And also they are there to understand and understand your child's strength. I was, you know, when you're in JS3, you write this mock exam, then what junior YX to prepare yourself. And when I wrote it, then we're doing, is it integrated science, some courses, some subjects like that. Subjects was for secondary school, courses university. And when my mock results came out and junior YEC, I passed more in science-related courses. And they called my mom and said, okay, she'll be in science class. I said, me? It's not me. So she's going to be a nurse. Let her, Ooh, you are, ooh. I can't even stand. If you are injured now as a nurse, I can start crying because I'm feeling your pain. So instead of me to treat you, I'll be like, hey, oh, you're sorry. I'll be so, no. So my mom was like, no, they said you did well in sciences. It's not me, because I knew what I wanted. I liked to talk. I actually knew, okay, I cannot be in this. Then I saw my seniors doing further maths, chemistry,
biology.
What? After a lot of back and forth, I eventually went for my arts. And I was telling my mom, after I said, if you had pushed me or if you had listened to them, I probably would have done what you want and just presented to you. Because, so parents are starting to be more aware. They are observing their children, paying attention to them. What is your strength? What do you like to do? Because if you push a child to do what they don't like to do, you wouldn't get the best out of them.
Well, you can't also blame them. I mean, imagine you investing so much and your child says he wants to be a DJ.
I don't know DJs that are paid. Okay, now, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. Now, education cannot be thrown away.
Yes.
You want to be a disc jockey. You want to be a stylist.
A cobbler.
You want to be a cobbler. You want to be a female, if I could use the word mechanic. You want to be any of these things, right? It's still important to go to school. I would always, when I hear people that say those things, I say, it's fine, but still acquire the knowledge. Go to school. You can still study in that line. You can do mechanical engineering or what have you. Just make sure that you actually go through that process. It will help you so that you don't wake up one day and regret and ask yourself, had I known, I would have. But let's take Kayode from Egbeda. Kayode says, resilience is crucial in finding balance. Life is unpredictable and will face setbacks and disappointments. But by learning to adapt, seeking guidance from mentors, and prioritizing self-care, we can navigate challenges and stay focused on our goals. Thank you, Kayode.
All right, let's take the next one here. It says, self-reflection is essential in finding balance. Now, by regularly assessing our goals, values, progress, we can identify areas we have compromised our values or lost sight of our aspirations. Now, this helps to adjust our path and stay aligned with our true north. This is Amara from Lagos. Well, it's a whole lot to take in. Like I always say, it still boils down on self-reflection, just like she said, self-reflection. Are you willing to be honest with yourself? First of all, that's what you need. You need to be honest with yourself. Because sometimes, that's what brought all this school is scam slogan that they always say, school is scam. Because a lot of people are now realizing that this thing is just a paper that they just did to probably satisfy their parents. They wanted to do other things that, okay, your parents, with the case of Davido also, he said that he wanted to do music, but his father was against it. He dropped out of school, but later his father now said, okay, let's do a deal. You go back to school and I'll support your music. And they, found a common ground.
Right, let's take Yomi from Songo. Yomi says, setting realistic goals and prioritizing our time is vital in finding balance. We can't pour anything from an empty cup. So self-care and personal growth must be non-negotiable. By communicating openly with loved ones and seeking support when needed, we can create a network that uplifts and encourages us. Thank you for your thoughts, Yomi from Songo.
All right, the next one says, finding a healthy balance between personal ambition and societal expectations can be a challenging yet crucial endeavor. Now, it is essential to pursue your goals and dreams while also considering the impact of societal norms and expectations. Striking a balance involves introspection to understand your own values and desires, then aligning them with what is expected or valued in your community or culture. Now, open communication with those around you can help navigate these expectations and find a middle ground that satisfies both personal aspirations and societal responsibilities. This is Justin from Abuja.
Quite a mouthful. Thank you, Justin. Chidima from Yabatech has this to say. It's important to recognize that societal expectations can influence our goals and decisions. By being mindful of these influences and staying true to your core values, you can navigate this balance effectively. Embracing your ambitions while considering the impact on your community can lead to a more fulfilling and purposeful journey. Thank you so much, Chidima, for your contribution.
All right, the next one says, finding harmony between personal ambition and societal expectations. Now, this involves a process of negotiation and compromise. It is essential to communicate openly with those around you, including family, friends, and community members, to understand their perspective and expectations. So by engaging in respectful dialogue and seeking common ground, you can create a supportive environment that allows you to pursue your ambition while honoring the values and traditions of the society. Emeka from Lagos. Well, quite frankly, he says, sit your parents down and try and find a middle ground and pray that your parents would also be understanding and, hear from your own side.
Right. Lydia from Unilag has this to say, quest for balance between personal ambition and societal expectations requires a nuanced approach that considers both individual desires and communal values. By cultivating a strong sense of self-awareness and empathy, you can navigate this dynamic effectively. Now, embracing your ambitions with sensitivity to the needs and norms of your community can foster a sense of belonging and mutual respect. Striving for this equilibrium can lead to personal growth and positive social impact. We have a lot of scholars sending in comments.
Yeah, quite a mouthful.
Thank you, Lydia.
All right, this one says, by embracing your aspirations while respecting the values and traditions of your society, you can create a harmonious balance that nurtures personal growth and social cohesion. Cultivating open communication, empathy, and cultural awareness can help you navigate this balance with grace and integrity. Striving for authenticity and understanding your pursuits can lead to a fulfilling and meaningful life journey. This is Benedict from Mushin.
That's the last comment.
Okay, that's the last comment. So I think, well, we do appreciate your comments, and it's been, well, stay tuned. We still have a whole lot more coming up on the Breakfast Cafe. We're on a short break and we'll be right back.
as a child. What is most important to you is love, warmth, acceptance, and security. But as you grow, there is a paradigm shift in the way you approach life. The interest you lose in some things, you pick in other things. Sometimes, the road is smooth. Other times, it is rough. Every step of the way comes with a new hurdle to scale. You win some, you lose some. You laugh hard, you cry hard, but at the end, you look back with a fulfilling smile and say, what a ride. High Impact Television equips you with what you need every step of the way.
Do you know bad production can kill a great content idea?
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
Welcome back to the Breakfast Cafe on High Impact Television. Now, this is a segment where we talk about something very, very important for you, for me, and for everyone out there. And this morning, we're talking about innovative solutions for economic growth and development. I'm sure you're wondering what exactly is this. But evaluation of innovative solutions for economic growth involves assessing the impact and sustainability of these approaches. Now, it's crucial to measure the effectiveness of innovation in generating tangible benefits such as job creation, increased productivity, and enhanced competitiveness. Now, by analyzing the outcomes of the innovative initiatives, policymakers and stakeholders can refine strategies, allocate resources efficiently, and scale successful interventions. Additionally, evaluating the inclusivity and long-term viability of innovative solutions ensures that economic development is equitable, environmentally sustainable, and socially beneficial. Furthermore, the success of innovative solutions for economic growth hinges on collaboration, knowledge sharing, and continuous learning. Building partnerships between government, industry, academia, and civil society fosters a conducive ecosystem for innovation to thrive. By exchanging best practices, leveraging expertise from diverse sectors, and nurturing a culture of continuous improvement, societies can unlock the full potential of innovative solutions for sustainable economic development. Also, embracing a holistic approach that integrates technological advancement, policy innovation, and human capital development paves the way for inclusive and resilient economic growth that benefits all segments of society. Now, joining us to have this conversation this morning is Ayo Emakiome. He's an economic expert and the CEO of Coinbox Limited. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Ayo Emakiome. We cannot hear you. Are you there? All right, we are unable to hear Ayo Emakiome while we try.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yes, we can hear you clearly. We can hear you clearly. Thank you for joining us.
Okay. Okay, I think I can hear you better now too.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Let's delve straight into the conversation now, talking about innovative growth. First off, what innovative strategies can be employed to address the sustainable development goals and achieve economic growth simultaneously?
Well, the truth is there is no one way to achieve what we call it sustainable growth. It's a combination of long-term and short-term strategies that will need to be combined to be able to achieve economic growth for the nation. And so in line with that, the first thing is planning. Most times now, even when we check our general economic plans as a country, we have our 3-year plans. The 3-year, the 5-year plans. But successful economies do not work with short-term plans. They work with plans into 20, 30, 40, even 50 years. Do we have any plan like that in the country? No. So it's a big deal. Then 2 is communication. We have a government that is very quiet. They don't say much. They don't discuss much. They don't engage the citizens. So if I don't know where you're going to, how can I assist you or work with you to where you're going? Because that is what drives innovation. You tell me, what is innovation generally? It is something that impacts on revenue, that impacts on productivity. And it has to be either faster, better, cheaper, or smaller, or anything like that. So that means for you to run search, you should be able to tell me what you want. Do you want this faster? Do you want this cheaper? Do you want this in what way? And in line with that, then I'll be able to start thinking in line with you and start innovating to make sure it's beneficial to both parties. Well, is the government telling me anything? No. They are just working. So that's why it's not a one-way thing, it's a two-way road where a lot has to be put in place. But having looked at that, it's not just the government that we look at when it comes to innovation. It's both the citizenry and the government. So citizenry, we have to start challenging ourselves towards coming up with innovative ways of doing things. We have to move from complaining about what's happening to now picking up from wherever we can to solve the problems that are around. What do I mean? Let's look at the different sectors, or a few of the key sectors anyway, like finance. What are those challenges there and how can we deal with it? Can we make payments faster and cheaper, unlike all the charges we're having now? Can we make banking systems faster and better, and probably move it to our mobile phones more than all the other platforms that are available? Then let's look at technology. I never remove the place of technology. Yes, our tech systems compared to other African systems are good, but is it comparable to our peers like those in the North Korean economies? If it's a no, then we need to focus on that. Presently, for example, we need to encourage the rollout of 5G, and then we need to encourage the development of technologies in the rural areas, right, because they are linked to us here. You get. Okay. So those things need to be looked at. Then the areas of like healthcare, because it's a healthy nation, it's a healthy population that gives productivity. So healthcare needs to be looked at. Education needs to be looked at. It takes a very well enlightened and technologically advanced population to be able to be innovative. How technologically advanced or educationally enlightened are people today? Our education sector needs to be addressed. Then even the gaps in the system needs to be addressed. How technologically advanced are even the schools in the first place? Those are things that needs to be addressed to be able to drive innovation.
All right. I'd like to ask a question. Earlier on, you said that in most advanced countries, they have a 10 to 20-year plan and all that. But if you look at Nigeria, let's say we even want to have a 10-year plan. We've seen whereby different administrations come in and they start to reverse certain things that was done by the previous administration. We've even seen that in this same administration, whereby the same president and the former president, they were from the same party. So how can we ensure a continuation of a 10-year, 20-year plan that would actually boost the economy and make it thrive in Nigeria?
Well, number one, we need to address the culture of what you just stated. One government will come, they spend just 4 years, a new one comes in, and the new one says, what everything the other person did is rubbish. This is now my own agenda. I don't think it's right, and we need to start speaking up. Most times when they do that, we all keep quiet and just go along with the new system. We need to start questioning these initiatives. Why would, for example, somebody said we need a bridge that would affect lives and drive productivity by XYZ number? That's the other issue. Government does not talk to us, and they don't give us. Now they just say they have XYZ initiatives, they have XYZ policies. They need to start telling us to what extent does it affect the economy. For example, you want to introduce a new bridge. To what extent will it drive revenue? To what number of people's lives will be affected? And then how will it affect that region? Give us the numbers. When we have the numbers, a new government coming in and saying this is Halabalu, we will say, oh, that it wasn't so when this is what they said and this is the effect. So we need you to continue with it. And they can't call it Halabalu when somebody has given us the numbers. But most times people just come and talk and talk and talk. We need to now start telling the government, look, do numbers, because that's how innovation is. You come up with a new thing, you can give me the numbers of this is what level of revenue that will be affected, or this is level of cost savings that will be affected. This is the number of people that this will save. This number of people that this will help. This is how this will drive productivity, and they are all in numbers. So when we now have that is now specific. Nobody can come and say this is rubbish, because we are all aware of the numbers and the effects. And so when we work with that level of drive, then automatically the level of cancelling or throwing away a plan that was meant to last 10, 20 years by another new person coming in just 3 years into the new plan would reduce, even though we now need to start addressing it among the political parties, that among themselves and among the different parties. Once there is a plan running, come with your own, but don't throw away the one that was running before. You shouldn't be throwing away every bathwater with baby in it. We need to start addressing the baby issues and then throw away just the bathwater.
All right. Thank you for your thoughts there. Let's now talk about innovation. What are some of these innovative financial models that can be adopted for infrastructural development in the country?
Well, innovative financial models that would be beneficial to the economy will be majorly in line with, first, let's address what do we even need and what do we have. Nigeria is a blessed country. We have virtually everything we need, really. So the question is, out of those things available, what do we need? And then, like some of the policies they're already encouraging, it must be government and private sector driven model, because there are things the government knows the private sectors don't know, and there are things that the private sector knows and needs because they are the ones wearing the shoe and the government does not know. So there must be a form of handshake between the two of them. It could be from parastatals or MDAs like SMIDAN. SMIDAN knows a lot of issues about SMEs and how it affects them. And so if there's an innovation drive, SMIDAN should be one of the bodies that should be used for such. We have government institutions like BOI. We need to empower them more and expand their scope to support industry. But now they should be able to be directed towards supporting innovation, such that what are those innovative things and how is it financed? Then there is a sector in the finance industry that is not really being looked at. Was it not last month, a report was brought out that the penetration of insurance in the country is less than 5%. And if you want SME to grow, especially in the area of innovation, we need more insurance. And so at 5% penetration, as less than 5% penetration is abysmal. we need to now start looking at ways of increasing the penetration of insurance to support SMEs, especially in the areas of innovation. Because a lot of SMEs and the average individual is not a risk taker. They will not want to take risks except they have some form of guarantees. I'm not saying 100%, but some form of guarantees. So that once that is there, then the insurance sector is empowered to do that. Then there will be more innovation because they know that it's not a complete loss if it doesn't work. Because research has shown that a lot of innovation fails, either in the short term or in the long term. But when there's no insurance to, restore loss, then automatically it would not, people would be more innovative and the economy would enjoy from that than now that, is on your own culture. Anything you do, you're on your own. It works fine. It doesn't work fine. Even the government, because the government is working with our money, not its money, they are being careful with the projects they support and the projects they don't support. Although on the government angle, there is a challenge of implementation. It has been the major issue. Government has a lot of good policies, but implementation has been the issue, which is just like now I mentioned the 5G system that they need to encourage the rollout, but it's just the implementation of encouraging that rollout that is the problem. So government has its issues, the private sector has its issues, so there must be a handshake for it to move forward.
If I may come in now, let's talk about agriculture. I mean, there's food scarcity, Maiduguri is covered with water and all that. So how can sustainable agricultural practices and agro-technology enhance food security and economic development?
Now, that's a very big, a very complex question you're asking, but let's address the key issues. Our agriculture needs to be more technology driven. And then we need to be more proactive in addressing agricultural issues. That is not ignoring the part of insecurity that we have now, which is the major reason for food scarcity. Because we don't have food scarcity, it's just that people are afraid to go to the farms. And then the second major issue that needs to be addressed is the transportation infrastructure. If those two are addressed, we will not have food scarcity. Before we now start looking at where technology's role is. Technology's role could be in innovative solutions like warehousing or food storage, where and then planting, harvesting, warehousing, food storage, the whole value chain like that. Technology has a strong arm to play, which is where innovation comes in. For example, nothing stops me from having a technology that tells me XYZ farm has XYZ products that will give me XYZ tonnage when it's ready, and then I have where a production is done in Maiduguri, like the example you gave now, but automatically I can have a warehouse somewhere in Lagos that can store that volume in a more technologically advanced format, such that whether it's in season or out of season, it's still available. For example, we don't have that here, but it's common abroad, in Europe that I know of, where we have cold storage. And there are some farm products that cold storage keeps them longer in availability than if it was the normal dry storage we have here. And then there are some particular temperatures for storing some agricultural products. And with that, they stay longer and available longer. And then technology itself means that industry should be addressed. Some products cannot be stored. What we can do is transform their current state from raw primary state to a advanced, like canning them or transforming them to another kind of product, but that makes it available. So innovation is necessary for such industrial processing. And also innovation is necessary for storage. And then innovation is also necessary for the issue of like what we have now in Maiduguri. There was flooding, but it's something that was already predicted long before now. But no innovative methods were deployed such that to minimize, if not completely eliminate the flooding that came up. We just still look at the normal primary agricultural practices as solution, which it's clear with the constant flooding in the north is not working.
Right.
So we now need to start addressing innovative ways of dealing with them. Thank you.
All right. Just as we're preparing to wrap up, let me ask this last question now. What are the potential risks and barriers that are associated with implementing innovative strategies for economic growth, and how can they be mitigated? If you can answer that in 1 minute.
I'll do my best. Now, potential risks. The first one is awareness. A lot of people are not even aware of the innovative ways, innovative solutions. What everybody feels is that innovation is technology. You know, come up with a new app, a new program, a new software. But innovation is as simple as, instead of using a bucket, you now use a basket. Wow. It's as simple as that before we start talking of technology. So, but the reason why is a challenge is that people are not aware that instead of using a basket, you can use a bucket. Then we can never remove the place of government participation. The government needs to be more supportive of innovative ways and methods and encourage it. Like I've forgotten the states now, they are now producing their own tractors. That's innovation. We don't need to import tractors anymore, reducing the cost. And if you are the manufacturer here in Nigeria, then automatically it will be cheaper to manage, maintain and produce them and deploy them. So that's another form of innovation. We now have electric cars being produced in the country. Innovation, we need to support it. Green initiatives needs to be supported, and there must be more awareness of the importance and need for this. So those are potential risks. That is awareness. The second one is even encouraging it in the first place. Everybody is always saying, if it's not broken, why fix it? We need to move to break it. It's good, it's fine, but break it and look for better ways of making it. That's how we encourage innovation. It's good, it's fine, but look for better ways of fixing it. We need to start working with that mentality and not the mentality of, if it's not broken, why fix it?
Right.
Because especially in the agricultural sector, it's so important.
Okay, that's a wonderful place to end the conversation this morning. Thank you so much, Ayo Emakiome, for joining us and for sharing your thoughts with us on these innovative strategies. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Have a wonderful day.
And
enjoy the holidays.
We'll do our best as much as we can while we're giving you all the updates. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right, that was Ayo Emakiome, a business and economic expert and CEO of Coinbox Limited. You know, he had a lot to say, I must say.
Quite interesting, quite brilliant of him sharing his thoughts and, you know, how the government can actually, you know, I like the fact that he said that we need to start calling our government, asking them for accountability, talking about them not shutting us out of everything, every plan. They just come up with plans without even getting knowledge from the people themselves. That they need to engage the people regularly. I always make mention of town hall meetings, which is very effective. I mean, it's a whole lot. But thank you very much. Still stay tuned. We have a whole lot more coming up. Next is Trending. We'll be right back.
I'm glad to announce that all agreements have been put in place and the loading of the first batch of PMS, as already announced by NNPC, will commence on Sunday, 15th September 2024. And from 1st of October, NNPC will commence the supply of crude oil to Dangote Refinery to be paid for in Naira. In return, Dangote Refinery will supply PMS and diesel of equivalent value to domestic market to be paid for in Naira. Diesel will be sold in Naira by Dangote Refinery to any interested off-taker. PMS will only be sold to NNPC. NNPC will then sell to various marketers for now. All associated regulatory costs, MPA, NIMASA, Federal Revenue, and all other regulatory or fee that are associated with this transaction will also be paid in Naira.
The video you just watched was an announcement of what is happening, how NNPC has taken hold of, I think, 70 liters of petrol, and what, according to what was
70
said,
trucks, 1.6 million liters.
1.6 million liters, and he was making a statement saying that, you know, Dangote would sell to NNPC in Naira, and NNPC is the sole buyer of PMS from Dangote, and they will not, pending the situation. And just like our guest earlier said, that maybe as time goes on, maybe, you know, Dangote might be given that what I call it autonomy or monopoly to sell to other marketers after this one. But the major thing now is we hope that this speculation, even in as much as NNPC has stood the ground that it is 858 Naira, we do hope, or we are employing our government to still look into, you know, this actual amount, some succor that we've been waiting or we've been expecting for a very long time. I mean, I remember earlier back in months earlier on, marketers came. That's far from reality right now.
Right. I think we've actually talked a lot on the first situation. So let's give you our weather forecast for today.